Okay, you can start.
Hello, everybody. Hello. Welcome. My name is Fiona, and I'm your teacher for today. I wish I could see you, but I know that you're there. Somebody's video is on and they're waving back. Hello. Are you ready for your grade 6 English listening and speaking lesson? Great. Have you got a pen and paper ready? Because you are going to be doing some writing today. And also, is there somebody near you that you can talk to if we have a discussion? If not, don't worry, because then we can, I see people putting on their videos, but you can keep your videos off, actually, if you want, maybe. Keep your videos off. They're all waving. Wow, that's so awesome to see you. So if you don't have anyone to discuss with, then you can just call out the answers. In the chat, is your chat box open by any chance? Is your chat box open? I'm not sure if it is. Okay, we want you to practice your listening and speaking today. So if you're using hashtags, you'll see at the bottom, lockdown school, and down's got an E on the end. Okay, let's get going. I'm Fiona Beale, and I'm your grade 6 first additional language teacher for today in the lockdown school. It's really great that you are here. Let me tell you what you're going to be doing today. First of all, we're working on week 1 and 2 of the CAPS curriculum for listening and speaking. And we're going to start off with a discussion on wild animals. Everybody loves wild animals, right? And so we're going to talk about wild animals because now we're preparing you for the story. We're going to review the 5 elements of a story. We're going to listen to a story and jot down relevant information. And then we're going to answer questions about the story and practice retelling the story. Finally, we're going to complete some further activities on the story. So you can see we've got a busy lesson ahead. Are you ready? Great. Now, I just want to start off by reviewing stories. This week in CAPS is all about stories. So can you remember what the 5 elements of a story are? Can you? Okay. We all love stories, don't we? I love stories. And so, but stories have got a pattern. They've got a pattern. Every story's got a pattern called the 5 elements. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to let you think about the 5 elements for a minute. Okay. Right, you're done. Do you want to call them out? I'm listening. What are the 5 elements? What did you get? Yes, I'm listening. Yeah. Okay, so let's check if you've got the same as me. Look what I've got. Characters, setting, plot, conflict, resolution. Did you get those 5 as well? Great, good stuff. Awesome. Okay, so when you talk about a story and you want to know who the characters are, you ask the question, who's in the story? If you want to know what the setting is, you say, what is the story about? I mean, where did the story take place? If you want to know what the plot is, you ask, what is the story about? What are the events that happen? And if you want to know what the conflict is, and every good story has a problem in it, you ask, what went wrong? And finally, the resolution, if you want to know what the resolution is, you say, how did that get sorted out? So today I want you to, when we listen to our story, I want you to try and see if you can recognize those 5 elements. Got it? We got it? Good. Okay. So in order to get us started, let's have a discussion. So now If you've got somebody near you, you can talk to them, or if you can, otherwise you can just call out the answers. And so our story today involves unusual wild animals. So we're going to discuss wild animals. What is your favorite wild animal? I think mine is a giraffe. No, yes, giraffe. I like a giraffe. Can you name any endangered animals in South Africa? There are quite a few. Can you think of any? I'm not going to name any, but I would like you to think of some. Okay. Are you calling out the answers? Can you think of an unusual animal in another country that you would love to see? I'm listening. I would love to see a kangaroo. I'd really love to see a kangaroo. Have you ever been to the Kruger Park? I haven't been for a long time, but I'd love to go again. Is there a way for us to see wild animals in other countries without actually going to those countries? What ways can you think of? Come on. Books, magazines, what else? What else? I'm listening. I'm listening. Okay, all right. So let's get on with our lesson. Now, an important reading skill, a reading strategy is predicting. Before you read a story or listen to a story, it's always a good idea to first try and predict what you think that story will be about. And one of the ways that we do this is by looking at the title of the story and then some of the pictures and trying to imagine what the story is going to be about. So we're going to do that now. We're going to look at the title, The Magic Glasses. You see that? And I'll show you just 3 pictures from the story. Now look at those pictures. See if you can tell what you think happens in the story. You can see it's about children, but what are they doing? They can see this tiger, and the tiger seems to be looking at them. What's that all about? And then you can see a map. What has a map got to do with the story? Can you make a prediction? I'm going to give you a couple of minutes, seconds, just to think about your prediction in 1 or 2 sentences, and then I want you to call it out. Right, you're done. So what do you think happens in this story? I'm listening. I can see some videos on, but I don't see their mouths moving. Come on. What do you think happens in the story? Give me a sentence or 2 sentences.
Magic carpet.
Taking a tiger from a wild glass.
Magic carpet. A magic carpet.
flow chart. And while you're doing that, I'm going to carry on talking. I'm going to give you a clue about the story. What sort of games are you playing now during lockdown? You've got a lot of time. Are you playing games? Well, in our story, Mandy and Caleb and their brother and sister are playing this game called the Magic Glasses. They're going to use these glasses to look at wild animals around the world. So as you hear the story, because it's listening and speaking, so you won't see the actual words of the story, I want you to write down the name of the animal and where it's from. Okay, got that? The name of the animal and where it's from, which country. The second time I read, I'll tell you what we're going to do then. Okay. Right. Are you ready to listen? Let's get started. Good. Okay. So here we go. What's happening now? Right, here we go. Caleb, look what I've made. Mandy told her brother, holding up a picture of a tiger. Oh, what is that? Asked Caleb. A tiger? A tiger doesn't live in the snow. How silly. Grr, grr, grr. Yes, it does, said Mandy. There is a tiger in Russia that lives and hunts in the snow. Is that so? Said Caleb. I don't believe you. But let's check it out. Pass me my magic glasses, Mandy. Oh, you're right, Mandy, said Caleb. I can see the tiger. It's got much more fur than normal tigers. Maybe because it's so cold in Russia. The Siberian tiger in Russia is different from the Bengal tiger that you find in India, although they look very similar, said Mandy. It only lives in one part of the world, just like we love our own home. Animals also like their own home, you know, and they don't like living in other places. This is such fun. John, Cindy, come and join us, yelled Mandy, calling out to her brother and sister. Oh, what is that? Called Cindy as she ran up to join them. That, said Mandy, is the unicorn of the sea. It's called a narwhal. It only lives in the waters of the northernmost parts of the earth, the Arctic. It's cold and dark there, but it's home for the narwhals. I've never heard of a narwhal. How do you know so much? Asked John. Huh? Mandy shrugged and said, books? The internet? She's obviously a good reader. Oh, you know what? Cindy jumped up and said, I read a story about an animal called an orangutan, but I don't know what it looks like. The orangutan. It's known as the great ape of Indonesia and Malaysia, said Mandy, swinging the magic glasses towards the east. Here you go. Cindy squealed with delight. Look! The orangutan is eating a fruit and it's got a baby that looks just like me. Ha 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 ha, laughed the other children. Okay. Now a quick question, said Caleb. Can anyone tell me what this animal is? Do you children that are in the lesson know what this animal is? Well, John said, a zebra. Mandy said, a deer. Cindy said, a buffalo. Caleb giggled, none of those. It's called an okapi. Did you all get that? An okapi that lives in some forests in Africa. It's sometimes called the forest giraffe. I love these magic glasses of yours. Caleb, can I have another turn, said John. Sure, said Caleb. What is the name of this bird? It has strange blue feet. Anyone know what this bird's called? Let me see, said Mandy, pulling out another pair of magic glasses. I've also got magic glasses, she laughed. Ah, yes, I recognize that bird. It's called the blue-footed booby from South America, and it does funny dances. Yes, you are right, said John. It's the blue-footed booby. I want to go inside and make my own magic glasses, said Cindy. Oh, I shouldn't have gone there. Can we go inside? No, called the other children. No, no, no. One more, one more, one more. They all said together. Okay, one last one, said Caleb. John interrupted. No, I've got an extra special animal in mind, so two more, please. Look at this one. This is the kiwi bird from New Zealand in the southern hemisphere. They're the only birds that have got nose holes right at the bottom of their beaks, just like humans. They've got very long beaks, and they dig and use their beaks and noses to find insects and eat them. Also, I heard a story once about a strange animal. I think it was called a loris. Ah, yes, said Mandy, the Sri Lankan loris. It's got big eyes, beautiful silver hair on its tummy and face. But thank goodness we can't see that loris now because it only comes out at night. It might look harmless and so cute with those big eyes, but it's got a dangerous bite that is venomous. And Mandy shuddered. Suddenly, there was a big uproar. The blue-footed booby flew down and did a crazy dance around the children. The children watched in astonishment. The bird looked real. It talked. Go inside, go inside. What are you doing outside? It's locked down now. Don't you know it's locked down? Get inside. And it flapped its wings furiously and did a crazy dance. The children grabbed whatever things they had brought with them and their magic glasses, and they ran inside. Now here's the map that we saw in the prediction. The 7 animals that you've just heard about and met live in different parts of the world. You might not have the magic glasses that Mandy and Caleb have got, but you can still see the animals here in the different parts of the world, can't you? You could even read about them on the internet if you have access to the internet, a computer. Well, how did you like that story? Did you like it? What do you think? I think it was a great story. If you want to read it, the link is given on one of the in slides. It's from the Story Weaver website. Right, I hope that you were writing down your answers as we went through. Remember, I asked you to write the name of each animal and where it's from. So, did you get that? Did you get that all done? So now I'm going to go through the answers and you can check your work. The first animal was the Siberian tiger in Russia. Did you get that? The second animal was the narwhal in Africa, in the Arctic. The orangutan in Indonesia and Malaysia was the third animal. The fourth animal was the okapi in Africa. The fifth animal was the blue-footed booby in South America. The sixth animal was the kiwi bird in New Zealand. And the seventh animal was the loris in New Zealand. How did you do? Did you get those all right? Good for you. Yay. Good for you. Right. Let's hope that you got those all right because we're going to listen to the story again. We're listening twice to the story. And the second time we listen, I want you to do something different on your flow chart. Now you've got the names of the animals and you've got where they live, but this time I want you to write down one characteristic that strikes you about each animal. Will you do that? Yes? Okay, one characteristic that strikes you about each animal. So I'm not going to be showing you the pictures this time, just the names. Right, let's go. Caleb, look what I have made, Mandy tells her brother, holding up a picture of a tiger. Oh, what is this? Asked Caleb. A tiger? A tiger doesn't live in the snow. How silly. Grr, 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 it does, said Mandy. There is a tiger in Russia that lives and hunts in the snow. Is that so? Said Caleb. I don't believe you. But let's check it out. Pass me my magic glasses, Mandy. Oh, you're right, Mandy, said Caleb. I can see the tiger. It has much more fur than other tigers, maybe because it's so cold there in Russia. The Siberian tiger is different from the Bengal tiger that you find in India, although they look the same or similar, said Mandy. It only lives in one part of the world. Just like we love our own home, each animal also loves its own special home and does not like other places. So did you get a characteristic, grade 6? Did you get a characteristic of the Siberian tiger? And did you write it on your flowchart? Good. So let's go on. John, Cindy, come and join us, yelled Mandy, calling out to her brother and sister. Oh, what is that? It looks like a sword in the water, said Cindy as she ran up to join them. And that, said Mandy, is the unicorn of the sea. It's called a narwhal. It only lives in the waters in the northernmost part of the earth, the Arctic. It's cold and dark there, but it's home for the narwhals. I've never heard of narwhals. How do you know so much, asked John curiously. Mandy shrugged and said, books, the internet. Oh, you know what? Cindy jumped up and said, I read a story about an animal called an orangutan, but I don't know what it looks like. The orangutan, that's the great ape of Indonesia and Malaysia, said Mandy, swinging the magic glasses towards the east. Here you go. Cindy squealed with delight. Look, look, the orangutan is eating a fruit, and it's got a baby that looks just like me. Ha, 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 laughed the others. Okay, now a quick question, said Caleb. Can anyone tell me what this animal is? John said, a zebra. Mandy said, a deer. Cindy said, a buffalo. Caleb giggled. None of those. It's called an okapi that only lives in a few forests of Africa. It's sometimes called the forest giraffe. I love these magic glasses of yours, Caleb. Can I have another turn, said John. Sure, said Caleb. What is the name of this bird? It has strange blue feet. Let me see, says Mandy, pulling out another pair of magic glasses. I also have some magic glasses. Yes, I recognize it. It's the blue-footed booby from South America. It's a fantastic bird that does crazy dances. Yes, you're right, said John. It's the blue-footed booby from New Zealand. I want to go inside and make my own magic glasses, said Cindy. No, they all said together. We can't go in now. One more. Okay, one last one, said Caleb. John interrupted. I have an extra special animal in mind, so 2 more, please. Look at this. This is the kiwi bird from New Zealand in the southern hemisphere. They are the only birds that have got nose holes at the bottom of their long beaks. Those nose holes are like our nose holes as humans. The kiwi birds dig and use their noses to find insects and fruit to eat. I also heard a story once about a strange animal called a loris. Ah, yes, said Mandy, the Sri Lankan loris. It has big eyes, beautiful silver hair on its tummy and face, but thank goodness we can't see it now because it only comes out at night. It might look like a harmless, big-eyed, cute animal, but it's got a dangerous bite that has a lot of venom. Mandy shuddered. Suddenly, there was a big uproar. The blue-footed booby flew down and did a crazy dance. The children watched it in astonishment. The bird looked real. It spoke. Go home, go inside, it called. Go inside, it's locked down now. Don't you know that it's locked down? What are you doing outside? Go inside. And it flapped its wings furiously. The children grabbed their magic glasses and whatever else they had brought with them, and they ran inside. The 7 animals that you have just met live in different parts of the world. On the map that we showed you, you can see where they live. You might not have magic glasses, but you can see where the animals stay. So there we have it. Did you get down the characteristic of each animal as we went through the names? Did you write those down? Good. So we're going to check what you got. Right. So now I'm going to tell you what I got, and you can call out what you got, and we'll see if they're the same. But remember, you only had to choose one characteristic, so yours might be different. For the Siberian tiger from Russia, I said it has a lot of fur. For the narwhal in the Arctic, I said it's got a sword on its nose. For the okapi in Africa, I said it's sometimes called the forest giraffe. For the blue-footed booby in South America, I said it does funny dances. For the kiwi bird in New Zealand, I said it's got nose holes at the end of a long beak. For the loris, I said it's got big eyes and a venomous bite. I wonder what you wrote. Did you get a characteristic for each animal? Can you see that animal in your mind right now? And notice that characteristic about it? Good job. Good job. Right. I wonder how well you were listening. We're going to check you out now with some questions. So I want you to answer the following questions, and you can call out the answers. And even though I might not be able to hear you, but I will be listening. Okay. You ready? Do you think this story had all the features of a short story that we told you about just now? The 5 elements of a story. Do you think that it had those 5 elements? Yeah, what do you think? Okay. Can you remember the characters' names? I'm listening. What are they? Can you remember? Yes, yes. How many were there? Okay. What is the setting of the story? Where did it take place? Where? Okay. Right. What was the plot of the story? The events in the story, the plot. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. What was the conflict in the story? Was there a conflict? What was it? What do you think? How was the conflict resolved? Yes. Yes. What was your favorite animal in the story? I'm listening. Which character in the story had a good general knowledge? Yes. What do you think about that magic glasses game? Do you think you could play that? Would it work for you? How would you go about making magic glasses? Now, I saw that somebody put up their hands. Who was it now? Someone put up their hand. Okay. Right, let's go on and see what answers you've got. Do you think the story had all the features of a good story? Yes, it had characters, children, a setting, it had the events and a plot, there was a conflict, and there was a resolution. Can you remember the children's names? Did you get Mandy, Caleb, Cindy, and John? What was the setting of the story? This story took place in their garden of their home. What was the plot of the story? Well, the children played in the garden, then they used their magic glasses and they saw 7 different animals, then they went inside. Those were the events in the story. What was the conflict in the story? What was the problem in the story? The children were playing outside during lockdown. They should have been inside. How was the conflict resolved? The blue-footed booby flew down and chased them away. Which was your favorite animal in the story? Your own choice. I liked the blue-footed booby, to be honest. Which character in the story had a good general knowledge? Mandy, because she read a lot. What did you think about the magic glasses game? This is your own choice of answer, but I think it was quite a creative game, actually, to play. How would you go about making magic glasses? Did you have any ideas about that? Okay, how did you do? Did you get all those questions right? You did? Great stuff. Good, good. Okay. Let me just look and see what the time is. Okay, we're doing well with time. So let's go on. I'm giving you a bunch of flowers because you did so well. Now, I've got a tip here for making magic glasses. So this is just an idea. Why did you think about making some magic glasses and creating a game around them? So all you would need is a piece of A4 paper of some type. Maybe you've got that somewhere. And you would draw the glasses shape at the top with a little tag so you could stick on the bottom pieces that go around the ear. Then you color them in and cut them out and think of a game to play with them. Now, I put a URL there, www.bit.ly/paper-glasses, if you want to go and look up a whole lot of different ideas for styles of glasses. Okay, we're going to go on now to an oral activity that I'd like you to do. You've just listened to a story twice, and now we want you to retell that story in 6 sentences. Do you think you could do that? The method that I would like you to use goes like this. You start with an introductory sentence to put the person in the picture, and then you start your sentences with first, then, next, after that, finally. Okay, I'm sure that you have told your friends stories, events hundreds of times, And you might use a different method. A lot of people go da 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 and da 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 and they use and to join all the sentences. But I want you to do it this way, where you start with an introductory sentence and then you fill in with some of the events. Okay, now I'm going to show you, to remind you of the different events in the story. There was the garden, looking at the tiger, looking at the whale, narwhal I should say, looking at the orangutan, looking at the okapi, looking at the blue-footed booby, looking at the kiwi bird, looking at the okapi, then the blue-footed booby returns, and there's the map. Now you can't use all of these in your retelling of the story. You can only choose 5. Choose 5 of those to write, to create 6 sentences and retell that. Okay, have you got it? You're going to do that. Right. You got it, Tamara? You got it? Okay. So I'm going to put on the clock, and while you write your stories, remember that if you don't finish any of these activities now, today, you can do them during the week, ready for our next lesson, next week, our next listening and speaking lesson next week. So let's see if you can retell that story in 6 sentences. When you're done, you can find someone near you to tell, or you can just call it out. Okay, are you done? Would anybody like to call theirs out?
Yeah.
I can hear some. Hmm? I can hear. I'm listening. You got the 6 sentences. Label, you got 6 sentences.
I haven't finished.
Celia, Raisa, Erwin.
How can you talk?
You just talk. Talk. Read your sentences.
The people were playing in the garden, and then they saw a white tiger, and then they saw an orangutan.
No ends, hey? No ends. Just they saw a tiger, then
Yes, we did.
what?
How do we do this?
Come on, somebody was doing very well there.
First,
Okay.
first there were some kids playing in the
They were
garden.
playing in the garden.
Then they were playing. They saw the tiger with
Yes.
magic. And then they saw a
Next.
bird.
How do we speak?
I have to see
After
this.
that,
retelling the story. I want to please
And
watch it
finally,
video.
Yes.
Watch it
okay, thank you. Okay, so if you
Hello?
haven't finished, work on
Where do
that
you
for
write
next
it?
time.
Hello, where do you write it?
Can we have all the sound off now, please? All the sound off. Right,
No,
now
if I don't want to, I don't have to.
I'm going to give you an example. Did I tell you that I've got Grandpa sitting here with me? Did I tell you? Grandpa's here.
Hi.
Hello, say hello to Grandpa. Hello. Hello, everybody. Hello.
Hello.
Grandpa's sitting here, and he wants to get involved in the lesson. So he says that he's written 6 sentences and he wants to read his sentences because he thinks they're funny. I don't know if you'll think they're funny, but he thinks they're funny. So thank you, Grandpa. We'd like to hear what you have to say. Oh, now Grandpa's come, I'll read them for you. Okay, you don't have to read them. I'll read it. Okay. Right, Grandpa's happy. Okay. This is what Grandpa wrote. The children escaped to the garden when their mom wasn't looking. I like that one. First, Caleb pulled out those magic glasses. I want some. And saw a Siberian tiger watching them. Right, good. Then the narwhal swam overhead and glared down at the children. I like that. Next, the orangutan grinned at them and said, "Keep your distance." Ha ha ha, that's a good one, Grandpa. After that, the blue-footed booby bravely flew down and danced around, chasing the children inside. Yes, good, that's a good one. Finally, the children stayed inside and played with their magic glasses. I can't read the end of that. Played with their magic glasses. There. Okay, good. Grandpa feels shy, but give him a clap. I think that was good. I think that was very good. Well done, Grandpa. Okay, so if you didn't get that finished, just keep working at it because it's a very good way to retell an oral story. Okay, good. Let's go on. Let me just check the time again. Okay, we're nearly done. Now, I want to find out from you, what do you think happens next? You can see what Grandpa said. He said they ran inside and they played with their magic glasses there. But you might have a different idea of what they did next. What do you think? So let me show you the last 3 events in the plot. They were talking about the birds, the kiwi bird and the loris. And then the blue-footed booby came down and chased them inside. What do you think happened next? Write down your answer just in 1 or 2 sentences. Okay, let me hear. What did you think? What did you think happened next? Okay. Okay. Right. Good. Okay. Now, this would probably be one of our last activities, maybe. What are the animals saying? Now, you know, we had all these lovely animals, the orangutan, the okapi, the Siberian tiger, the kiwi bird, the loris, and the narwhal. What do you think they were saying to the children? Because animals have got their own language, haven't they? We just can't understand it. What do you think that they were saying? For example, the orangutan might have said, "Hello, we've never seen humans before." What do you think the other animals were saying? Maybe write down just one of them, and then you can finish that for homework. What do you think that the animals were saying? I can see label writing. Label. Good. What were the animals saying? Right. Well, you can call out one. Okay. So, good. You could finish that for homework if you for next time. But what we need to do now is start ending off. Remember, you can do all these activities at home this week if you want to. And if you use social media, our hashtag is the lockdown school. Good, you've done very well today, very, very well. Got some more ideas for you now. Just let's go over what our busy lesson today was all about. This is what you did today. You talked about wild animals. You reviewed the features of a short story, 5 elements. You listened to a story and you filled in information on a chart. You answered questions about the story. You practiced retelling the story. You predicted what could happen next in the story. And you thought about what each animal said to the children. So that was a very busy lesson. And I think you did very, very well. Okay, let me just find out. I just want to see something. Right. So I'm just going to give you a few ideas now, the things you can do this week. First of all, don't forget to practice retelling stories using those 6 sentences that we heard about today. Also, think about making some magic glasses for yourself and play and think a nice creative game that could go with those glasses. There's if you've got access to the internet, there's a fun website called Switch Zoo where you can create unusual animals. When I saw that okapi, I thought of this website called Switch Zoo. Also, today's story is adapted from a story on the Storybook website, Storyweaver website called The Magical Glasses. I would like to invite you to our next lesson tomorrow. It's a grade 6 lesson. I hope you'll be there. It's a reading lesson tomorrow at the same time, 10 o'clock. And this lesson tomorrow centers around a famous story about Bablo Bear. So you can join him on his thrilling nocturnal adventure and find out many secrets about the Himalayan bears. I hope that I'll see you there. Well, that's the end of our lesson. And don't forget that we can, you can follow us on social media, Lockdown School, Africa Teen Geeks. And thank you so much for joining us today. It was wonderful to have you. I hope you learned something today and that you'll practice your listening and speaking. And goodbye.